There we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Velero community meeting. Today is April 27th, 2021. As you can see, we've got a bunch of attendees here, which is fantastic. I love it. It's a new attendee list, so please add your name in there. We're going to start up with some status updates. Then we have a few discussion topics and contributor shoutouts, just like a regular community meeting. So first off, we have Dave with some team updates.
Yeah, so just to let everybody know, Nolan and I are swapping hats. So Nolan's going to take on the architect hat, and I'm going to be the team tech lead rolling forward. Other than that, no real changes at the moment. All of the stuff we're doing as far as the 1.7 payload remains the same. And then for myself, trying to get the upload progress spec finished off, made some minor changes to that. And we need to review that and get that merged in, and working with the team as a whole to get all the design stuff going.
Awesome. So we'll have to do a slight update to the website, I think.
Yes.
Yep. Put a PR in for that later today.
Sounds good. All right. Any questions, comments for Dave? All right, Nolan.
Yeah, so relevant to the roadmap, I've been getting up to speed on the Carvel suite of tools. I'm sorry, Carvel, like Marvel. This will be for packaging up Velero in a way that's compatible with the TKG product going forward, but all other people can certainly use it. So I'm pairing with Carlisi on that, but I do need to get up to speed on this suite. I'm not super familiar with everything. And then the other relevant item is I will be getting a design in for how I want to do this Velero debug command. I think it's fairly simple, but it requires an update to Go 1.16, and I want to describe how we're going to package some of the crash diagnostics or crash D scripts into the binary before I actually start coding work on that. So those are the two big things for the roadmap during this 2-week sprint that we've kind of done internally.
Awesome. Any questions, comments for Nolan?
I'll also mention Carlisi and I are going to be joining Dylan Murray, who is a contributor in the Velero community, at KubeCon EU for a session on conveyor. I do not have the time in front of me, but we're meeting up to discuss that stuff this week too.
I'll make sure that that's added to the meeting notes here as well. The link to the session. That's so cool. And yeah, I'm guessing then the next few weeks we'll have a design conversation around the Velero debug command.
Yeah, and honestly, I think the biggest change will be in the build process, but I haven't actually dove in because it will require inserting some text into the Velero binary. But I know Go 1.16 build tools allow for that, so that's the main thing I want to get in the design doc, but it's not produced yet.
Sounds good. All right, next up, Bridget.
Hey everyone. So for the last week, I've been mostly spending my time continuing the design work for plugin versioning. Maybe feeling a little bit behind schedule on that, but I'm hoping to have an initial draft of a design doc up by the end of this week for folks to review, because I know it impacts a lot of the other work that we're applying for 1.7. So I want to get feedback from that as soon as possible. So yeah, that's my plan for this week. Try and get that information out. That's it.
Sounds good. So having a design doc conversation around that too.
Yeah, unfortunately, I won't be at the next community meeting because I'm moving house next week. But I'm hoping that if I can get the initial draft out. Folks will have time to review it, and then maybe we can pick it up at the meeting after. So in 2 weeks.
Sounds good. Any other questions, comments for Bridget? All right, Alicia.
All right, I'm getting very distracted by this thing on the bottom moving. Is it a HackMD thing? Does anybody see that? Weird. Anyway, last week I assisted David McKay with the Velero walkthrough. I thought it was very cool. We had plenty of time to discuss little details of Velero. It covered the basics and philosophies behind the tool.
This is very cool.
Yeah, I
Awesome
thought sorry?
Awesome job.
I think for people who are not familiar with Velero, this would be awesome.
Yeah, thank you for promoting Velero and increasing education. That's great.
Yeah, of course. I need to find out what this moving thing is. It's driving me nuts. I have been also continuing researching Carvel. I have my next step in the process is installing it. Not installing it, I have already installed. So it's really using it to figure out what the possibilities are. I do still have to open a ticket. I'll do that today to figure out what the requirements are first that we need to fulfill to get this done, and then for the next sprint I'll have the design document done, but that's farther down the line. And try to catch up with PR reviews. There are some house cleaning items that I've been working on. I have some PRs open here and there, and that's it for me.
All right. Any questions, comments for Calicia? Short and sweet. All right, diving into the discussion topics. Eleanor.
Yes, I had two questions. One is, I know that there was kind of pain around people have been asking, yay, people are coming to the Velero Slack channel on Kubernetes, but people are asking a bunch of support questions, and I know that we were trying to drive them to GitHub. So just last week, I realized that I think can do more of the driving, because if an engineer goes and says, hey, go elsewhere, it's kind of like, well, engineer, why aren't you answering my question? Whereas as a PM, I can drive them without kind of ignoring them. So I guess it was Bridget last week, just for that first week. Bridget, do you have any feedback? Did it go well? Did it make any difference for you? Or was it not, Bridget, if I've already forgotten?
Yeah, so I was on the channel last week. Yes, it was helpful. Sorry, I'm gonna have
put
to
you on the spot. Sorry.
Review like the situation on the channel, and I feel like I've immediately forgotten what it was like last week. Yeah, I think maybe last week was like a little bit quieter, but yes, I think it was helpful. I think things went there. I hope they were addressed. Sorry, I'm doing a terrible job.
That is okay.
Like,
I totally
your
put you on the
question.
spot. The point is, I think the best answer is if nothing sticks out in your head, it didn't sound like there was like a huge problem. So I'm going to keep trying to encourage people to post on GitHub, because then as it says, Dave, I think, pinned a post saying it makes it easier to look back at old issues. And the corollary to that is, oh, and by the way, I'll mention I asked a bunch of people to move it, and most people were like, oh, wow, so sorry. Or a few people didn't respond at all. And then I guess their issue got resolved elsewhere. But there were some kind of general discussion questions. And I guess the thing I wanted to bring up here especially is, what kind of discussions do we want on the Slack channel versus what do we want on the GitHub general discussion page? So to me, hey, is this going to be on the roadmap, or what do you think of the roadmap, should definitely be on the Slack channel, because that's very much a like team-wide, everyone eyes on it sort of question. I do know that there are some questions, I'm just pulling it up now, that were like, maybe now that I'm, kind of, does Velero do this? Does Velero do that? those I don't know what to do with. So I'm going to, just for instance, does Velero pick up the pending delete CRDs for deletion and delete corresponding backups eventually? What do folks think? Should that be driven to GitHub? Is that a support? Is that a discussion for GitHub, or is that discussion for Slack?
I think a metric that might be helpful is if it takes more than 10 minutes to really respond, including back and forth. I'm going to include back and forth to respect our time. Then it should probably go to GitHub. That specific one, I think could be answered with yes. But
I just picked up something random. It was posted on Friday.
But I think that is that's a rule we use internally, or a guidance we use internally. I don't think it's bad upstream for us.
I have one additional take on the answer to this question. I would ask, would the answer to this question be useful, would be durable and useful to other people in the future? If the answer is yes, should go in the GitHub Q&A because it's much easier to find it there. For things that are ephemeral, sure, use Slack. I think it makes more sense.
Mm-hmm. And I will say, Nolan, I like your metric of 10 minutes. Unfortunately, because I'm so new to Velero tech-wise, I have no idea if it's a 10-minute thing or not. I can probably evaluate on Carlisia's metric, maybe, I can guess. So should I maybe suggest, maybe I'll write up a little like blurb. I can make it as a pin post and I can copy it in saying what Carlisia said. How do folks feel about that? And to be clear, I want to help you all out. I want to make it help you all out, like not getting questions where you don't want them. And of course, I want to help the community by having a good collection of answers. So doesn't matter to me either way. So do you want me to maybe take Carlisia's answer, condense it down and direct it to those kind of more general questions? Slack? I'm seeing some nodding heads.
I think so. I think we want to keep, Slack should be like quick conversations like, hey, did this PR get merged? Mm-hmm. Things like that. The good thing about getting the discussion, so we have the discussions and the pull requests on GitHub. And the good things about getting stuff into both of those is that you can Google search for them. Mm-hmm. And if somebody does a Google search, they don't see what happened in the Slack channel.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
So I think Carlisia's rule of thumb is a good one. And so anything that's like a substantial question that's not just a, yes, or, here's the docs, or even if it is, it might be worthwhile to say, I translated your question into a discussion and I gave you an answer there.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Then I'll rewrite a little. Any other thoughts actually before I close out this discussion? Okay. Then I'll rewrite. I'm going to take Dave's pin post and maybe make it a little wider and then use that as my default. Great. My other question was, to be blunt, in VMware, we kind of certainly track our open source, not track, but we kind of have an open source meeting where we talk about our projects. And one of the questions was like, what's the health of the community? And I know that there are a few metrics that would make sense to think about the health of the Velero community. And I'll mention, I was asked this in the meeting, but I do think it's a really good thing to track. I want to know, are we helping the Velero community grow? So I know that we can think about tracking contributors, or we can think about tracking like PRs. Has anyone in the past tracked Velero community health? And Jonas, forgive me if this is directly to you.
Yeah, it is. And yes, we have. So we've been doing community health checks on a roughly half-year basis. Okay. Started last year, and then we did another one in January. In February, we started deploying a proper measurement system as well for certain things. So that is still being built out, but I'm happy to show you what we have so far and see if that's useful for you.
Perfect. I will book a meeting with you then. Thank you. I should have known that this was already thought about.
Yeah, we want to make those things as public as possible later on as well. That's the plan. Great.
Yeah, because it's just exciting when you're part of a community to see it growing and becoming more popular. So that would be great.
Yeah, and for the community as well. So right now within VMware, we have project guidelines, like a checklist of things that every project should do as they're getting open sourced or just after they're being open sourced, like opened up on GitHub. And then the health check, we actually have the measurements written down as well. And both the guidelines and the health check are being open sourced within the next couple of weeks. So we can always point to those things when we talk about how we measure project later on.
Great. Well, that's all my questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Eleanor. Does anyone have any other discussion topics that they would like to bring up on today's call?
I just have a question on the versioning, plugin versioning. Do we have any update on that yet?
So I'm currently working on a design doc, which I mentioned earlier, but I will, I'll hopefully, my plan is to have the draft of the design doc shared by the end of the week, and I'll tag you. My plan was to tag both you and Scott in it, since you're doing work which depends on getting that feature into Velero. So I will, I'll include you in the review for the design doc, and then we can hopefully bring that information forward to help progress the work that you're doing as well.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Yeah, and then hopefully as well, we can, once we progress a little bit more into design, then we can start to work together a bit more on those features that require the versioning.
All right. Any other questions? Topics? All right. Let's dive into some contributor shoutouts.
Yeah, so the first two are some typos that we certainly appreciate having fixed. I'm going to apologize, and I'm not sure how to separate this this name. Arun. Okay, thank you, Arun, for fixing up the typo. Also, I believe Jose for fixing up another typo. Those things sneak in, and we appreciate your help in cleaning that up. The next one, I think, is a little bit of sad news for us. Carlos Panato is stepping down from helping maintain the Helm chart. He was a great help while he was working on it, but he's moving on. So thank you very much for all the time you've put in and all your help with Helm, Carlos. We appreciate it, and hopefully enjoy the free time. The next one's Genting is a maintainer on the Velero team, but I just want to give him a shout out for continuing to move stuff forward, cleaning up the issue templates, making sure there's some other Helm things in here. Let's see. Basically, Genting has been driving a lot of the Helm chart work, and really appreciate that. That's been super helpful. He's fixed Helm upgrade issues, and he also helped fix up some issues on our AWS plugin. So thanks a ton, Genting. We really appreciate your help.
And Genting is on the call here as well. So hi, Genting.
Oh, hello.
Oh, yeah. My first time to join the community call. Yeah.
Great to have you here, Genting. I'm going to give you some more fantastic feedback on things you've built here.
Yeah. You want me to say something about this one?
No, that's okay. Just thank you for finding this issue and fixing it. I know Helm with CRDs is tricky, and often it's easy to run into issues with Helm and CRDs. So thank you for finding this and fixing it up. And the next one was some changes to the AWS build process, I believe. Yeah, the publishing. So thank you for fixing. Oh, this was GitHub Actions, wasn't it? Thank you for fixing that up, and thank you for all your contributions to the project.
Awesome. Thank you, Nolan. And Carlicia, we got some Q&A contributor shout-outs as well.
Yes. Have a hard time pronouncing some names.
That should be
Daisuke.
Mm-hmm.
Daisuke. And
Daisuke.
Daisuke.
And sorry, I didn't link to the answer, but the other contributor as well for, let me see. He, she, well, this person does not have a spelled out name on the GitHub profile. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. But they answered questions on the GitHub discussion, and that were marked as the correct answer. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you all contributors. You are fantastic. And so with that, that ends the Velero community meeting for April 27th, 2021. Have a fantastic rest of the week, everyone. See you all on Slack and everywhere else. Chat soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.